What is up, Ramble fam? Y'all, as you guys can see, I'm here solo again, okay? And that's not because Genevieve is not coming back. However, our schedules just didn't align this week. The day that she was, okay, we were gonna film an episode. I'm gonna keep it so for with you guys. Low-key, I feel like I'm developing a minor, okay? Don't nobody go getting concerned, okay? I think I'm developing like a little minor addiction to the casino, y'all. It's like my new version of the club, low-key. Like, y'all, I haven't been out like to a bar club in like, y'all, I can't even tell you. Like, I feel like maybe it's been probably about a month and a half, maybe 2 months. It's been a long time, which is a long time for me, okay? Because y'all know I like to go out. And I feel like recently I just been kind of obsessed with going to the casino, like not only filming for that channel that I have, however, just like having fun with it. I actually did go with Genevieve on Saturday to Pachanga, and y'all, low key, it was like, oh, it was such a vibe. It was such a good time. Even though I didn't really win, but I didn't lose. So I feel like low key, then that's kind of like a win. You know what I'm saying? This is what I always say. When you go to the casino and you break even, like to me, that's a win because you had a good time in the meantime. You know what I'm saying? So the day that she was able to film, my mom was like, hey, let's go to Valley View. And I was like, hey, Genevieve, girl, I know we were supposed to film the episode today. However, I'm going to go to the casino instead. And she's like, okay, well, next week we'll get back on it. So you guys may see Genevieve 2 weeks in a row, okay? Because if you guys weren't keeping up with the podcast, I basically had said that I wanted to do like, you know, one episode solo, one with her, one episode solo, like on and off. You know what I'm saying? However, maybe it'll be like 2 solo, 2 together, 2 solo, 2 together. Like I said from the jump of this, y'all, I don't have any type of like set, rhythm with this. I'm just going with the flow, and whatever works out, and what don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not really, an organized podcast. And like I said before too, okay, y'all know that I always like to give disclaimers over here, and I really do over explain myself probably a little bit too much. But I always like to tell people too, like, obviously this is just one big hodgepodge of messiness, and it's just no organization over here, which if you guys were to only see my room right now, y'all, and this desk, I literally told myself yesterday, okay, I'm gonna clear off this desk, I'm gonna clean it, and I'm like, you guys, I don't even do my makeup at this desk, and I'm like, this desk is a mess, is what I meant to say. I put those 2 words together, y'all. Look at me, and I just feel like I just can't get my life together, y'all. And speaking of which, okay, before we jump into the yucks or yubs, okay, I just wanted to like vent to you guys about this because I just feel like low-key I've been going through something over the past few weeks. You know what? I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. Maybe the past month and a half now. It's been kind of a minute that I don't know what it is that has kind of like taken over me. I feel like low-key I'm not really like nourishing my friendships right now, and I'm kind of doing my own thing and just kind of like staying to myself because I got to keep it real with you guys. Like, I know that everybody in the beginning of the year, like everyone wants to be like all hopeful and just kind of like, yeah, well, wishes, new year, new me. And I'm like, I got to keep it real with you guys. Like, low key, like I feel like this new year is just not starting on a good foot for me. And I don't mean like there hasn't been anything big that's like really happened negative in my life. However, just in my mind, I just feel like there's like a war going on. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like it's just so clouded and just so like, that I'm always looking for a distraction. And I feel like low key, like I said, the casino recently has been my distraction. So it's kind of like every time that I've like had plans with a friend or whatever, I'm just kind of like, I'm gonna go to the casino because I got to keep it real with you guys. I feel like I'm just in one of those headspaces right now that where I feel like I'm going through so much mentally, only because y'all, I don't even want to like list all the reasons of like all the little things in my life that I'm like, damn, I'm about to be 36 years old. And I kind of, I thought I would be a little bit further along in life right now. So I feel like a lot of things get into my head that I just don't have the patience. I don't have the energy. And I don't know. I just don't have it there mentally to like hear my friends and their problems. And everybody's going through their own things. And I know that that sucks. And I'm like, y'all, I'm that person that has been there for my friends time and time and time and time and time again. However, I just feel like I've hit this point in my life right now that I'm like, I'm kind of pushing everybody away because I'm like, I just don't have the energy to deal with everybody else and what they're going through because I'm going through my own stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? And you know what's so crazy, y'all? Like, I have this one friend who I got to keep it so real with you guys, okay? I love her to death. Like, she's like honestly such a sweet person, such a kind person, but I just feel like sometimes, hopefully you guys can understand where I'm coming from. Like, sometimes it's better for me to stay away because if I'm going through a lot, like, y'all, I kind of get a little bit triggered if I'm keeping it real with you guys. If like, say for example, I'm venting about things in my life and then my friend says back to me, damn, that's crazy. I'm like, that triggers me to my core because I'm like, why is it that I could sit here and deal with your problems and give you the best advice that any therapist would give you know what I'm saying, and talk to you for hours, but then when I'm going through something, it's damn, that's crazy. Like, I just get triggered by that. Do you know what I'm saying? And I feel like, okay, let me just go ahead and keep my distance until I could get everything figured out on my own, which low key, in a weird way, I feel like is a good thing for me because I have always been that person that I relied on my friends to like vent to and go to for advice. And I'm like, you know what? I'm getting older and I know that everyone else is going through their own problems. And I feel like maybe it's time that I just figure out everything on my own. However, I really do feel like I've been kind of like, shunning and pushing away my friendships, which makes me a little bit sad. But then at the same time, too, it's something that I've never really done before. I feel like I've always put my friends first in my life because I do have to say, my friends have been my family, y'all. Like, if you guys have not heard me say this before, when I was coming out, like, y'all, I got kicked out, by my family, and I had nobody to rely on but my friends. So since an early age, since I was 16 years old, I literally just relied on my friends. So therefore, that built this relationship within me to always prioritize my friends, even when they don't prioritize me. And I feel like now that I'm getting older, I've started to realize, not every time, but there's a good chunk of your friendships, or periods of your friendships, to where it's kind of like take, and not give. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like, yeah, I need a little reciprocation. If not, I'm just gonna go ahead and keep my distance and just kind of like do my own thing. You know what I'm saying? And I think that sucks, and I do feel selfish for doing that. However, I do have a couple friends that I've been talking to recently, and they're like, you know what? It's about time that you do this. Focus on yourself. And if you don't want to do something, if you don't want to hang out with somebody, if you don't have the energy to talk to somebody, that's totally fine. And I'm like, why do I feel guilty about it? Why do I feel bad about it? So in a weird way, I feel like I've kind of just like been running away and like going to the casino, you know what I mean? And that's been like my new outlet of having fun. And I think it may not necessarily be the right thing to do. However, I feel like in this moment, I feel like it's like the best thing for me to do, if that makes any type of sense. I know I'm kind of like saying a whole bunch of nothing. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like there's just so many things that I want to talk about. However, I don't want to like put all the tea out there and all the business out there, because I do feel like it's developing things that I am working on and that I am going through. And I do got to keep it real with you guys. I feel like it stems from me and getting older. If I'm being so for real with you guys, I'm like, I'm gonna be 36 years old. And y'all, I had literally always said, like, since I was like 21, it was my goal to own a home by 30. Like, that was my goal. I literally had said, I was like, I'm gonna own a home by 30. And I'm like, y'all, I'm saving every little bit over here that I can. I know you guys probably hear me go to the casino, or, saying that I go to the casino a lot. However, I have been very lucky, knock on wood, that at least I would break even. Do you know what I'm saying? So I haven't been like losing or whatever. And on top of that too, I do not touch my savings. But I really have tried my hardest to like live very frugally, because I'm like, I really am trying my absolute hardest to own a home within the next 3 years, which then still, y'all, if I'm keeping it so far with you guys, that still makes me sad to even say, because then I'm like, I'm going to be 36 next month. So therefore, if I purchase a house within 3 years, like, I'll be 39. Like, oh my gosh. Like, but I do have to say this though too, y'all, I'm like literally trying to save to put down like between 30 and 40%, which is a lot, you know what I mean? But the reason for me wanting to do that is because I really want a low mortgage, because I don't want to give up my lifestyle as far as like traveling. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want to be able to pick up and like go whenever. Like, if I get invited on a cruise, I want to go. If I get invited to, I don't know, Barcelona, like, I want to go. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I'm like trying my hardest to like save like 300 grand, which, ooh, y'all, it's taking the damn life out of me to do that. But anyways, that is not my yuck or yum, y'all. I literally wrote this down. Let me go ahead and tell you guys my yum first, okay? Because I know that was just like a whole bunch of drainingness, you know what I'm saying? And me venting. Y'all, I felt like talking about that because I'm like, hopefully you guys can relate to me, and hopefully you guys can understand where I'm coming from, because I don't know why. And, I'm not trying to put everything on like signs, but I'm just kind of like, maybe it's the Pisces in me that I'm like, why do I feel so bad for just kind of like taking me time? Do you know what I mean? And just being like, okay, let me stay to myself right now, because I just don't have the energy to deal with anybody else's problems. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like, to me in my brain, let me tell you guys, I feel like that sounds so damn selfish, because I feel like, well, if my friend's in need and they need to vent and they need to talk, then I should be there. But then I'm like, wait, but then if I go and I do that and I just feel so drained and just so sad and just so empty after, like, that's not good for me. Do you know what I'm saying? So I need to obviously learn to be like, let me just keep my distance, until I could get my shit figured out. Like, it's one of those things of like, oh, if the airplane's going down, put your oxygen mask on first before helping somebody else. Do you know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm kind of going through that right now, and I feel like I need to learn to be okay with putting myself first and prioritizing myself, which is kind of something I've never really done. But by the way, oh my gosh, before I even jump into my yum, I'm so sorry, I forgot to address this from the jump. I completely avoided you guys in last week's episode. Okay, I'm being so for real with you guys. After I had edited that podcast back, I realized that, I talked about, one political topic, and I was like, I'm always scared to talk about politics. You guys know, oh my gosh. But y'all, today we're going to be talking about political stuff yet again. I just can't help it. I just feel like these things keep, popping up, and people keep tagging me in some things. And I'm just kind of like, well, damn, I do want to talk about it, but I am scared of it. However, I do feel like it's one of those things to where I obviously have to take a chance, and I have to talk about something new, and I have to, do something that scares me, because I feel like that's good for personal growth. I feel like that's good for growth within connections with you guys. It's good to get the conversation going. Do you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I completely avoided the comments last week because I was like, I just am not like, I'm just not, I don't want to deal with it. Do you know what I'm saying? And I feel like, let me address that. And y'all, I love interacting with you guys in the comments. However, I just felt like, let me just avoid this whole entire episode. So I just uploaded that and I ran, y'all, just keeping it soulful with you guys because I was like, I feel like these comments are going to get a little bit messy, especially because I have really come to realize now that people hear whatever the hell they want to hear. And I'm a very down the middle type of person. Like, I really do like to hear, you know, both sides of the story and then obviously gather my own thoughts and opinions. And I think that people hate that because if you don't agree with them, like, damn, y'all, they want to get the pitchforks out and like come hunting you down. And it's like, I don't like that type of energy. Do you know what I'm saying? And I do know that there has been quite a few people, especially on my main channel, who get really pointed at me if I don't like necessarily say what they want to hear. And I'm like, okay, boo, like go do an audio recording and play it back for yourself. Okay. Cause I'm not the one to sit over here and be a herd of sheep and just follow everybody. Like, that's just not me. Like, I always want to do my own fact checking, do my own research and gather my own thoughts and opinions. And I don't just, you know, agree with the masses. Like, I obviously do my own investigation, I would say, you know what I mean? Which obviously could be wrong. Do you know what I mean? But I do feel like at the end of the day, it's better than just blindly following people, which there is one topic I want to talk about today of like people blindly following people, which I'm like, people read, stop just watching a 30-second clip and being like, oh my God, this is horrible. It's like, no. Do a little bit of research. It takes 30 seconds. Like, you end up looking really dumb when you don't end up reading. Do you know what I mean? Anyways, into my yum. Okay, y'all, because I did state within that video that like, I was really nervous to do my Zepbound after not doing it for a long time. And then I fell down this rabbit hole of like, it's really bad for you to go back into a high dosage of Zepbound without having something in between. Like, I should have consulted with my doctor and I should have gotten a lower milligram re-prescribed to me to like help, you know, get me back into the higher dose. And I just jumped in for it, y'all. And I gotta keep it so real with you guys. Like, I honestly, when I was editing my that podcast back, I was sitting over here like, oh, okay. Like, I didn't seem like I was overthinking it too much. I didn't like look like I was too scared. I gotta keep it real with you guys. I was shitting bricks, y'all. Like, I was so nervous. Like, I gotta keep it so for real with you guys. Like, right before I filmed that episode, I was like reading. And I was like, oh my God, this is not good. Like, it's sitting over here saying that you could get like stomach paralysis. You could get like all types of gastrointestinal issues, diarrhea, vomiting, extreme nausea. And I'm like, y'all, thank the Lord I did not get anything. Like, literally nothing. I felt bloated for a day, which I kind of had felt before, do you know what I mean, from Zepbound. So I was like, you know what? Like, it wasn't bad whatsoever. I didn't get, you know, any, I never know how to say nauseous, like in that tense. Like, I never got any nausea. Is that how I say it, y'all? I don't really know, but y'all get what I'm saying. Like, I didn't get nothing. I was like, oh, low-key, I didn't get no diarrhea, nothing. I was like, okay, so I did want to update you guys on that. And that is my yum, y'all. I got to keep it with you guys because I was so nervous. I was like, oh my God. And like, even texting my mom was like, yeah, you definitely shouldn't have done that. And then I had a friend too of like, oh my gosh, like, why would you do that? That's really bad. But I gotta keep it real with you guys, okay? I don't know if you guys know this, but I guess apparently at first Zepbound was meant to help people with sleep apnea. I dead ass really do think, and for the longest time, even before I got on Zepbound, I really do think like I have sleep apnea, like dead ass. I have said that to my friend for years now. I'm like, why do I always wake up tired? Why is my freaking mouth just always dry? I just feel so like drowsy throughout the day. And it's so crazy. Even if I got like a good straight 6 hours of sleep, 7, I can never get 8 hours of straight sleep, but 6 to me, I feel like is pretty good. I still would be so damn tired. And on top of that too, I'm like, damn, I snore like a freaking beast. So I'm like, I really do think I have sleep apnea. So this to me, low key, made me think of like, okay, girl, go get a test, because I was like, how did I straight up go to the 12.5 milligram and not get any side effects? Like, I was like, okay, well, clearly I got some type of, you know, issue going on right now. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, let's go ahead and jump into my yuck, y'all. Oh, I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. My yuck was my whole spiel earlier. Oh my God, why am I so dumb? Y'all, I literally, because I'm telling you guys, like over the past week or so, I just feel like I've just had so many things running through my brain. And I really do feel like my brain is all over the place, which, yes, we already know, we've already established, okay, people have literally diagnosed me on the internet for years now of having ADD. Yes, I have undiagnosed ADHD, okay? I totally get that. But I just feel like over the past couple weeks though, it's been way worse than before. And I do think, okay, I think it's because I'm maintaining 3 channels now on the regular. I have this podcast channel, I have my main channel, and I have my slot channel. And I'm just like trying my absolute hardest to do all 3 of these, because genuinely all 3 of these do bring me joy. You know what I'm saying? And I do know that obviously if I want to, how do I say this? if I want to have a successful career on social media, I know that obviously I have to put so much work into it for it to grow. It's just really, if I'm keeping it with you guys, it's like, damn, it's kind of taking a lot on me mentally. And I do feel like, y'all, I wrote down for my yuck not being able to maintain my friendships right now. And obviously that goes into the whole spiel that I gave you guys earlier. And I really do think that has a lot to do with it too, is that I'm just so overwhelmed that I feel like when I hear my friends like, you know, venting about this or talking about this or going through the problems that they're going through, I'm sitting over here like, okay, girl, all right, well, okay, I'm gonna talk to you later. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just kind of want to run away, which I know it seems very selfish. However, I just hit this point in my life to where I'm like, oh, this is a lot. You know what I mean? And I can't take on any other stress. Do you know what I mean? So in a weird way, I feel bad about it, but then in a weird way I feel like low key maybe this is something that I should have learned all along. And I do want to say this to anybody out there. I have realized at the end of the day, okay, you come into this life alone, you leave this life alone, and I feel like you have to be your own best friend and you have to do what's best for you. And it's so crazy, and I know it sounds hypocritical from a person coming like me, and if my friends are listening to this, they know, okay, girl, you're being really hypocritical, because I'm always feeling bad. Like, if I can't show up for a function, if I can't show up for somebody's birthday, if I can't, you know, be there for somebody because I'm going through my own things, like, obviously, like, I feel so bad to the point to where I'm like literally about to be in tears over it. And I'm like, why do I get so pressed of not being able to be there when it's like at the end of the day, we all have our own things that we're going through in life. Do you know what I'm saying? So I do want to say this to everybody out there. Like, if you are struggling with your own stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, deal with that first before you could help somebody else. Yes, I know that does sound a little bit hypocritical. However, I do think that is something that I am going through right now that I am actually doing, you know what I mean? And I really do feel like, even though it kind of does hurt me and it does make me a little bit sad, I do feel like it is for the better, because I'm like, if I already feel drained over here just staying to my damn self, imagine how drained I would feel being around my friends and then they're going through their shit and then, you know, obviously talking about it to me too. Like, I feel like, well, this may not be so good. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, take time for yourself and don't feel bad about it. You know what I mean? Although I would like to know, like, low key, like if I were to like start going to a therapist, I would like to know the reasoning for me feeling bad, because I feel like that's just something that I want to get to the bottom of. Like, why do I feel bad about this? Like, I should literally always prioritize myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got to keep it real with you guys. Like, you know, me talking about purchasing a home and whatnot, I'm not going to be able to afford a home within Los Angeles County, me being a single individual. And to be so straight up with you guys, I think I'm going to be single for life. And I'm not even saying that like in a negative way. Like, I genuinely just think that's the path that I'm going to be on in life. I feel like my you know, how do I say it? Like, my desires don't align really with a lot of the people within the gay community. Like, I'm not into open relationships. I'm not into thruples. I'm not into orgies. I'm not like, y'all, when it comes down to be in a relationship, I'm pretty damn old school. Like, I literally like one partner, and I don't think that, you know, my kind of, I don't want to say like my beliefs, but like, I guess my desires. I don't know what damn word to use. Like, it just doesn't align with a lot of the gay community within California, let's just say. You know what I mean? Because I have noticed all these people on Grindr, Tinder, everything. It's like in an open relationship, in a throuple, seeking a third. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, that's just not me. It's never going to be me, which is totally fine. Do you know what I mean? So I have to say this, like, me being a single individual, like, I am not going to be able to afford a home within Los Angeles County. And I'm sitting over here thinking like, yo, I'm going to be moving out towards like San Bernardino County, you know what I mean? Which is probably about an hour and 30 minutes away from Long Beach, you know, where I currently live right now. And I'm sitting over here thinking like, you know what? I gotta be so comfortable with being by myself, because I'm going to be fully by myself. And the truth of the matter is, I know that my friends obviously are going to have a very busy life, and they're not going to be driving an hour and a half to go visit me every week. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, you know what? I think this is a good test, let's just say, of like me being able to handle everything on my own, deal with being on my own, me learning to be my own best friend, me kind of like just dealing and processing everything on my own. And I don't know, like, maybe in a weird way, maybe I'm going through this right now for that reason, to kind of like prepare me to, you know, move out and live on my own, because y'all, I've never lived on my own, first of all. Second of all, I've never not lived within like 15 minutes of my friends, y'all. Like, any single time that I'm like, oh my gosh, like I am going through something, I gotta go over to my homegirl's house, like, it's the furthest friend from me literally lives 15 minutes away. So to me, this is like something so new. So I'm like, you know what, maybe in a weird way, maybe this is all meant to be. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, y'all, I wanted to jump into some hot topics. Letting you guys know, okay, obviously, once again, we're going to be talking about some controversial things, and I guess some political type of things. I guess, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even know if this is considered political. Obviously, you guys saw the title of this. We're going to be talking about Jeffree Star. This is low-key kind of like a long-form version of what I would be talking about on my main channel. I have to let you guys know this from the jump. If you guys clicked on this, like, y'all, moving forward, Yes, of course, every now and then I may talk about political stuff. I may talk about controversial stuff that's going on in the world, but I don't want that to be the basis. And I want everyone to know that, okay? Because I know this is kind of like looking like, oh, 2 episodes in a row, I'm talking about things that are having to deal with, politics or worldly issues. That's not my purpose on this. I just feel like these are the main things that are coming up within the past couple weeks. And you know what? I'm going to keep it so real with you guys. There may be times of periods moving forward here on the podcast to where I talk about something controversial and political for a month. You know what I mean? And then it's all lighthearted comedy stuff. By the way, I put this category of podcast, okay, because you can select your categories of where you want your things to go to on YouTube, okay? So you have like entertainment, you have how to, you have beauty, like you have all these different categories. I let you guys know this from the jump, okay? When I even did the podcast with my old co-host, okay? We're just gonna say Voldemort because y'all know I just tried my damn hardest to not say her name. I put the category underneath comedy, okay? Like letting you guys know that from the jump because I wanted this to be lighthearted. However, if you guys watch my main channel, y'all know that I had said like I don't want any limit to the things. If I want to talk about something, like I'm gonna talk about it. You know what I mean? So I'm letting you guys know this from the jump. Do not start pressing me moving forward, okay? If you guys get up into the comments talking about like, talk about this, and I don't want to talk about it, then I'm just not going to talk about it. Do you know what I mean? Because I do see some people like, oh, you need to speak about this. Like, I'm sorry to say, and I'm not even trying to be rude. I don't need to speak about anything, okay? Like, at the end of the day, like, I'm going to speak about what I want to speak about. Like, yeah, I do get tagged on a lot of things, and I really do appreciate that. Actually, I got tagged in today's topic. We'll get into Jeffree, obviously, way later in the video, but I really do enjoy that. However, it's just something that I wanted to talk about, but I don't ever want to feel forced to talk about something. Do you know what I mean? Because I have really realized when it comes down to social media, and I've said this numerous times now, a lot of people really do want to hear their thoughts regurgitated to them, and I low-key feel like that's like a weird form of narcissism, and I do think it's a very dangerous thing, okay? When you go into a conversation, say for example, you go to dinner with your friends and you have this topic of conversation on in your brain and you already have your thoughts and opinions formed on the matter, like you're dead set in your opinions, and you bring this conversation up and you say that wanting your friends to agree with you, to me, that's weird, okay? Like, to me, if you're going into it with the mindset of like, oh, my friends should totally agree with me on it, it's like, well, what if they don't? You should be open to hearing a different form of opinion. Do you know what I mean? So that's why to me, when I hear people say, talk about this, it's like, well, I could already tell, like, if you want me to talk about this and you're saying X, Y, and Z, then you're just wanting me to literally say your thoughts back to you. And I'm not ever going to be that type of person, because if I do have contradicting opinions on it, or I do have a difference of opinion on it, then I'm going to state that. And I feel like, y'all, people don't like that. You know what I mean? But, oh, Jesus, I almost dropped over my Red Bull, which... Don't come at me, okay? I know I said I need to stop drinking energy drinks, y'all, okay? I'm just, like, really tired today, okay? And I feel like if you guys watch my main channel, I was, like, sitting over here like, I need to stop drinking energy drinks, and then here I am. Oh, my God. I do promise, though, I really only have, like, one a week, okay? Which, do keep in mind, okay? People still don't understand this. I'm like, do you guys just think that I wear the same damn clothes in every video? There will be some times when I pre-film for my main channel where I'm like, y'all, sometimes I'll film 4 videos at one time. So I'm like, if I talk about having an energy drink, to them, they think that I'm having one every day. But I'm like, no, that's just in one day. I just filmed 4 videos that you guys are seeing over the span of 4 days. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, don't get it twisted, okay? This is a different week, and I really am trying my hardest to obviously tone down on the energy drinks, because I just keep on seeing how many things that are bad for you when it comes down to energy drinks. And like I told you guys, my mom's other bestie's daughter died of a freaking heart attack at my age. At my age, I was like, oh my God. And they said she drank energy drinks like every day. So I was like, oh my God, I know I need to stop doing this. But anyways, yeah, moving forward, I was giving you guys a spiel right here of like, I don't want you guys to think that I'm over here like, entering like, oh, my political era over here. And I'm going to be talking like, no. Okay, this is a hodgepodge podcast. Okay, like literally, this is a mix of everything. Pop culture, comedy, story times, like freaking messiness, advice even. Do you know what I mean? Maybe some politics every now and then. So don't get it twisted that I know 2 weeks in a row we're talking about some controversial shit. However, I just feel like this just happens to be the topic of conversation. You know what I mean? Anyways, let's go ahead and get into these hot topics, okay? Because I had saw this, and you guys, like, this is where I swear to God, I've seen people before comment and say that I'm a conservative, okay? Which to me triggers me, because I'm sitting over here like, oh my God, if I say something, anything of the sort, like, it's so crazy the world that we live in that everybody wants to put people into labels. They want to put them into a box. It's like, don't put me into no damn conservative box, okay? Because obviously if you guys listen to me, like, I'm not conservative whatsoever. However, yeah, sure, maybe I do agree with some conservative things. Earlier, for example, me stating about me being gay and I don't like a throuple and I don't like orgies and I don't like all this, like people will be like, oh, he's a conserva gay. You know what I mean? It's like, No, I just like a traditional one-on-one relationship. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's all I grew up with my whole entire life, and I feel like that's something that I have always wanted. That doesn't mean that I'm a conserva gay. Do you know what I mean? Like, yes, however, there may be some thoughts and opinions that I do agree with from the conservative side of the spectrum. However, that doesn't make me that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I get so irritated about people with. I'm like, okay, like I agree with some liberal stuff. I agree with some conservative stuff. Like, so what do you call me then? Bipolar, like, you know what I mean? Anyways, this what I want to talk about right here, because I genuinely, and I want, this chair is squeaking so much and it's brand new, what's going on? I genuinely want everybody's opinion on this because, okay, I know, okay, hey, if you're, for example, and y'all don't go, I'm being so serious in the chat, do not get ugly in my chat, please. I will block you, and if I block you, then you can't comment. You could just watch only, but you won't be able to comment, okay? I want somebody who is a conservative Christian, let's just say, to comment down below. If you're a conservative Christian watching this video, you are welcome here, okay? Hopefully everyone knows, like, y'all, I'm friends with everybody from different religious backgrounds to different political backgrounds. I am not that type of gay who, oh, I can't be friends with a conservative or with a Republican or whatever. Like, if you guys checked out last week's episode, y'all know, like, y'all, I literally have a couple of conservative gay friends. Do you know what I mean? So, like, to me, I welcome everybody, okay? I just have a reason, okay, for saying this right now. So if you hopefully are down in the chat right now, hopefully you can say that you're a conservative Christian, because I would like to know from a religious standpoint, or maybe even just from like a more conservative standpoint, like your thoughts and opinions on this topic of conversation, okay? So I had read this headline from TMZ that Daniel Stern, I believe that's his name. Let me check my notes. Yeah, Daniel Stern, he was one of the sicky bandits in Home Alone. He was a tall, skinny one. I think the other one was Joe Pesci. So not Joe Pesci, okay? So he had recently got arrested, or charged with, sorry, solicitation of prostitution. Like, basically, he was trying to hire a prostitute here in the state of California. He ended up getting charged for this. And you know what's so crazy is ever since I was younger, I've just, y'all, by the way, I have never, okay, and this is just to let you guys know, okay, I get so irritated, and I think I told you guys this before, like, I had made a comment around a group of gays, okay, and they got pressed that I was like, oh, I'm not into throuples, like, I cannot do that, I'm not into open relationships, and they immediately thought that I was being judgmental. I'm like, it triggers me to my core when people get so pressed about that. I'm like, I don't give a shit what you do with your life, I'm saying for myself, do you know what I mean? And here's my thought process on this, too. I've never really understood, if somebody wants to go out there and they want to sell a little coochie, like, what's the problem with that? Like, I genuinely don't get it. And y'all, I grew up Catholic. Y'all, I grew up going to the church. Like, I made my first communion and everything. Like, I grew up with actually a very religious family, and I still don't get it. And you know what's so crazy too is, like, what's weird is that I have like a more lenient Catholic side of the family, and then I have like a really strict Catholic side of the family. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like two different spectrums here. But on one side, they're like, who cares? Do you know what I mean? Like, you want to do OnlyFans, do it. You know what I mean? You want to go out there and be a prostitute, be a stripper, do it, make that money. You know what I mean? And I have to say, like, within my opinion, I think I fall into that category, because I genuinely don't understand, like, if you decide to sell a little cooch, like, what does it matter? You know what I mean? Like, I just don't get it. Like, y'all, when I went to Amsterdam for the very first time, like, walking through the red light district, I'm being so real with you guys. Like, I would hear story times, like, of people like, oh, I went through a red light district and I saw a prostitute or whatever, and, I paid $25 to go up in there, and I was like, yeah, right. Like, that's not like that. I walked through the red light district with my parents, y'all, and we were sitting over there like, oh my God, it's legit. It's legit. Like, they actually have prostitutes in glass windows where you could go right inside. We actually saw a couple guys go in, and that's just how it is over there. And I gotta keep it with you guys. Like, I just have never really understood, like, why is it illegal? Two, yes, I know people are gonna say for health reasons, okay, but obviously what I'm saying is, like, they're in the red light district. Like, I talked to my ex, he's been there a few times, and he said that with his group of friends, like, they would go over there and they would pay for prostitutes. And he said that it was mandatory to use protection and whatnot. So, like, say, for example, yes, take the health out of it, because let's just say that if it was required for you to obviously use protection and stuff, like, what's the problem? Like, do you guys really, okay, I'm being so fair with you guys. Do you guys think that maybe it's because, like, the IRS is like, wait, like, how are we going to be able to tax them on this? So we're like, oh, hell no, like, let's go ahead and stop them from prostitution because they're not going to be able to pay taxes on this and they're making money under the table. Like, do you guys think, like, it's like a reason of that? Because my brain, sometimes I can't wrap my head around it. Like, if a girl wants to go out there and sell a little coochie, like, girl, get your money. You know what I mean? Like, even though, yeah, look, let me tell you something, I would never do it. Do you know what I mean? But I feel like I just have never seen the problem within that. I don't see why that's such a big deal. I don't see why it's illegal. Do you know what I mean? I know obviously in some states I do think that they have like different laws, you know, to different places. Like correct me if I'm wrong, but I think like here in in the state of California, like we can't even have like full nude strippers. I think you can only be topless strippers over here. I could totally be wrong on that, but the strip clubs I've been to have only been topless, you know what I mean? So I think like even laws like that, but I don't know, like sometimes like this, I was reading this article and I was like, well, if he wanted to go out there and pay for a little prostitute or whatever, like whatever, you know what I mean? Like I don't see the problem within that. And this is where sometimes I'm like, y'all, my brain's all over the place because I know that some people want to put me in a box when it comes down to some talking points, but then I'm like, stuff like this, I'm like, okay. Excuse me, y'all. Drinking some Red Bull. It's sugar free though, okay? I know people are gonna be like, the sugar free one's worse for you, but y'all, I saw on the Red Bull that like this size can of Red Bull has like 42 grams of sugar. I was like, let me not do that. Anyways, y'all, okay, this is not like a hot topic. Okay, how we keep this over with you guys? I feel like that's like pretty much like the main celebrity hot topic or whatever. We'll get into some other things right now. This thing I wanted to talk with Genevieve about specifically. So let's see if I remember next time we film that I want to talk to her about this because I was like, oh my God, y'all. I like literally had how do I say it? Like I was like sitting there like stunned. Do you know what I mean? Somebody tweeted, there's a reason you ain't ever used your phone in a dream. And I was like, I literally got goosebumps reading that. I was like, oh my God, I don't think that I have ever used I remember a lot of my dreams. I can't ever remember using my phone in a dream. Like I can't ever remember sending a text, Googling something, like looking, like I can't remember using my phone. So when I read that, I was sitting over here like, wait, have I used a phone in a dream? Like what? Like I literally can't. Like I think I do remember a dream a long time ago, but it's so funny because like one time me and my homegirl used to go, this is a long time ago, y'all. In high school, we used to go to payphones and we would prank call people from the payphones. Okay, but there's a lot of young people that are probably like, what the hell is a payphone? Like, y'all, my mom, my dad, and my sister, we all felt so old because I forgot like where we were. This was probably like 5-6 years ago. And we saw a payphone and we're like, oh my God, I can't believe there's a payphone here. And my brother had absolutely no clue what the hell a payphone was. He was like, what's that? We were like, oh my God. And then we had to really think about it. We're like, oh my God, he didn't grow up with payphones. Like he's 13. For those of you that don't know, he's 13 years younger than me. So I was like, oh my God, he legit didn't know what the hell a payphone was, you know? So I did have a dream before about me and my homegirl going on a payphone, but like talking about actual, you know, like cell phone, I'm like, I can't picture one single dream. I can't. So let us know down in the chat if you have used your phone within a dream because, yeah, that kind of mind blew me. I was sitting over here like, oh my God, like what's the reason for that? Like, I wonder if it goes into that whole like simulation theory. You guys know that there's like so many theories out there that like, you know, we're living in a simulation, which like low key. You know what got me really tripped out one time is like, I don't know if I saw it on a podcast, a TikTok or something, right? Somebody said, how is it that you fit tightly in a car with only 3 people? And y'all, it's so crazy because like we like to do like you know, road trips up to Solvang. And y'all, I drive like a Kia Sportage, okay, which is like a little tiny mid-sized car. Okay, oh, not mid-size. It's not tiny. Sorry, it's like a mid-sized crossover is what I meant to say. It's a tiny SUV is what I meant to say. So like we'll go up there and it'll be like my mom, my dad, my nana, you know, my brother, whatever. So like all of us like crammed into that car. And like y'all in the back seat, like they'll be crammed back there. You know what I'm saying? And then somebody's like, but then you could get up and walk across a bus. And like 4 people, 5 people can fit across a bus. You could have 2 people here, 2 people here, and then people standing in the middle. And I was like, oh my God, that's so true. Like, how do we fit in the same lanes? Like, here you are in my car that is so crammed with just 3 people, but then you could legit probably have like 6 people across in a damn bus and you fit in the lane. Like, to me, I was like, I'm so mind blown about this. And people were like, oh, like this is like, oh, you're in a simulation or whatever. And I was like, oh my God, like my brain can't even fathom these things. Like, y'all, when me and Genevieve went to Laughlin, y'all, we were just floating out there on the river. We had our Michelob Ultras and our seltzers and shit. We were just sitting there talking about these conspiracy theories, and we were like, it's such a trip when you actually start to think about these things. And I was like, this is some crazy ass shit. And I told her about that one about like, you know, people saying like, oh, you could fit 6 people across in a bus, but then when it comes down to a car, 3 people are freaking crammed like shoulder to shoulder like this. You know what I mean? I was like, it's mind blowing. You know, like these things. I'm like, this is some weird shit. All I gotta say is when we die, We better know the answers, okay? Like, I just feel like this is something like I'm gonna be so pressed if we just die and that's just it. Like, I'll be like, look, like, can you at least just tell me the answers of life? Like, did this happen? Did that happen? Like, did like the dinosaurs like really die? Because also there's another theory too that like dinosaurs never really existed. And I was just like, what the hell? Like, there's just so many different things, you know? And another one that I would really like to know is like, why is there like some type of like treaty that like Antarctica, like nobody can go fly over Antarctica and explore Antarctica and shit like that? I'm like, the world doesn't agree on shit. You know, all these countries don't agree on shit, but they could agree to like, oh yeah, let's not mess with Antarctica. Like, this is some weird shit. And I'm like, I just want to know the answers, okay? It's fine if I don't get them while I'm alive, although I would appreciate them while I'm alive. But if when we die, like, can I get all the answers though? Because like, y'all, I'm really gonna be pressed if I don't. Like, if I just die and I'm just like there in some void, like, ugh, I'm gonna be annoyed. Anyways, y'all, this is a little bit different for the podcast. However, I feel like for the sake of this, like I kind of wanted to do like a little bit of a reaction style to this first topic. Okay, there was this guy going viral. At the time of me seeing the video, it had 14 million views of this very feminine gay guy going into the men's restroom, and this guy was being a complete dick to him, okay? And I gotta keep it real with you guys. As a gay man, when I was younger, okay, you guys know now this is it for the makeup that I wear, a little eyebrow, a foundation, and that's just it, okay? Like, that's me on a daily basis. That's all I wear. So I guess unless you're like really up in my grill, you can't even like clock that I'm wearing makeup. However, if you guys have been up on my main channel for a long period of time, like I used to go out in full face of makeup, okay, y'all? And my makeup was dramatic, y'all. Like, I was doing the most dramatic shit ever. And you know what's so crazy, y'all, is I would wear the fat, okay? And I mean the fat, oh my gosh, what the hell was I gonna call them right now? The creepers, okay? Like, I haven't worn those in years. So they have like 2-inch ones, and they have like, I think it was like 4-inch ones. I would wear the 4-inch ones. Mind you, I'm 6'2", okay? So when I would wear them, I would be like the biggest bitch around. So my big ass would feel so insecure going into the men's restroom when I had like a full face of makeup. And do keep in mind, this is like 10 years ago, you know? I do have to say, I think that I am blessed in the aspect that I never got bullied, harassed, or anything like that because I'm so damn big. And y'all, like in America, for those of you that don't know, the average male height is 5'9". I'm 6'2", so imagine me with some damn creepers on. Like, I think a lot of people probably didn't mess with me because I'm like, I look like freaking Andre the Giant, fucking Big Show over here. You know what I mean? So I'm lucky in that aspect. However, I do got to keep it real with you guys. I would always get very insecure and I would overthink going into the men's restroom. Not that I would want to go into the women's restroom. However, I just know, like, obviously being a gay man going into the restroom, like, there's always this complex, okay, that like us gays, especially, you know, I guess, I don't know if I'm considered like feminine now, you know what I mean? But I was then, obviously, with my full face of makeup. We would all have this complex of like, oh, these straight guys think that we're like looking at them or whatever, you know? So I would always go into a stall rather than go into the urinal because I didn't want any type of like altercation or anything like that. But I do have to say, as the world moved on, like obviously why am I saying obviously so many damn times? We obviously have gotten a little bit more used to like feminine guys out there. There's so many guys who go out there wearing, you know, like, let's just say that they're very, why was I going to say astringent? I swear to God, the word in my brain was astringent. Androgynous, obviously wear a little bit more feminine clothes, wear makeup, you know, and we live in a different world, okay? I do have to say, when I was in my era of doing that, I want to say like 24, 25 times were probably a little bit more conservative than they are now. So it's so crazy for me to see videos like this of this guy going into the men's restroom and getting harassed by this guy. And it's so crazy. Obviously, there's this whole online debate of like, you know, men and women's restrooms. And I do have to say, y'all, I talked about this on the Patreon before I had shut down the Patreon. I did talk about Lily Tino up on there because I was like, Lily Tino is making all the trans girls look fucking horrible, if I'm being so honest with you guys, because I feel like she goes out there and she rage baits people and like going into the restroom and filming. Like, girl, get the fuck out of here. Like, honestly, I'm so sorry, but call me transphobic, whatever. Lily Tino, to me, I can't stand the bitch. I really can't. I really do feel like she is detrimental to the trans community. I really do. So I do think that there's obviously this whole online discourse of like, oh, men in women's restroom. And I'm like, it's so crazy that this man who is identifying as a man, okay, and he's just feminine, he's getting bullied in the restroom. It's like, okay, so you guys don't want, like, you know, trans women in the women's restroom, but then you obviously now don't want gay men in the straight restroom. Like, what the hell? Like, does everywhere need to have like a freaking, you know, queer restroom now for like everybody to just like feel comfortable going in there? To me, that's crazy. Like, it's so crazy. And I do got to keep it real with you guys when it comes down to the whole, you know, trans in women's restrooms. I like to hear women's voices on this, you know, if they feel more comfortable. Obviously, me as a man, like, to me, that's not my problem to deal with. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not something that I'm going to encounter. So I like to hear, and I do have to keep it real with you guys. I don't have an opinion on that because I do think that my understanding of it is a lot of women are like, okay, if you're a full-on trans woman and you know, are, you know, dressing the part, looking the part, done up to the nines and everything like that, like, okay, you're a woman going to the restroom, it's not that big of a deal. However, I've seen on TikTok now, obviously, to where a lot of people identify as women, but clearly look like men, and then they go up into the women's restroom. That's where things get a little bit, you know, a little misconstrued and a little convoluted, because then that's where it's kind of like, well, damn, you know what I mean? Like, I get it. You know what I mean? Like, things can obviously be very complicated, and I do think that there needs to be some type of general understanding. And I do think that it does suck that we do got to keep it real, that there are people out there in the world who choose to identify as something just that way they can be a creep, go into the women's locker rooms and things like that. And I think that it really does suck for the trans women out there who are literally just trying to be normal functioning members of society, and they end up having the price to pay because of these damn creeps out there. But like I always say, when it comes down to everything, there's good apples in every bunch and there's bad apples in every bunch. And it just sucks that, of course, the bad apples get the most spotlight, and I think that really does suck. But when it comes down to this specific topic right here, this is what, like, you're having a guy who identifies as a guy go in there, and you could clearly tell that he's a guy, like, he's going into the restroom. Like, this man is so pressed about it. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like sitting over here like, what do you want this guy to do? Because if he identifies as a guy and he was going into a public women's restroom, like, to me, then women probably would have felt uncomfortable about that. Do you know what I mean? So this is where I'm just like, this is so annoying. This guy really pissed me the fuck off. If I'm keeping it real with you guys, I'm like, low key, I have to say that this, you know, feminine guy who made the video, I have to say, like, low key, I was like, he was way more calm than me, because I would have popped the fuck off on him, because I feel like I'm a man going into the men's restroom. Just because I'm feminine and I wear makeup and I'm, you know, having jewels on and whatever, like, if that bothers you, you clearly got some issues of your own. Because it's my firm belief that if you are a straight man out there and you are so pressed by what another man is doing, you're fucking gay, okay? Like, on the low, you be jacking off to gay porn or something, because why are you so pressed on what another man is doing? Like, it's so crazy to me. I gotta keep it with you guys. Like, every straight guy that I literally know, like, within my personal life, like, they don't give a shit. Like, y'all, they'll go out to WeHo with me. They don't care. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, they're comfortable within their sexuality, and they know what another man chooses to do is none of their fucking business. And that's what I feel about this guy. I'm like, you clearly are suppressing something, homie. Like, you're in the closet jacking off to Jeffree Star, because what's going on over here? Like, this is really weird. So I want to go ahead and play this clip for you guys right here, so that way we can talk about it and, you know, form our opinions, because I think that it sucks when you have somebody who is identifying as a man, who clearly looks like a man, you know what I mean, just obviously feminine, go into the men's restroom and still get harassed. It's like, holy fuck, like, what do we do moving forward? So let's check this out.
Yeah, take a fucking picture of me. Yeah, I don't like a dude with fucking, show your face, fucking pearls on his eyes. Yeah, I don't like this shit. In a men's bathroom, showing your fucking chest like a girl, like a fucking girl.
Pause right there. Showing your chest like a girl. How many guys, do you guys not remember that era? Okay, y'all know that I suck at timelines, okay? But do you guys remember that era? Who's that guy from the burlesque show? Okay, or not burlesque show, sorry, the burlesque movie, like the one where Christina Aguilera was like, I forgot what it was with him at first. They ended up getting together and he had a girlfriend, whatever. That guy, I forgot his name. Was his name like Cam or something like that? He used to wear like the lowest cut V-necks. It was that time, okay, where a lot of men would wear super low cut V-necks. That was just like the style of the moment. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, you're sitting over here and that you're going to make that as your talking point. A man wearing, oh, he's showing his chest. He's wearing just like a blazer with it open. It's like, it's not that serious. Like, what? Showing your chest? Like, clearly this guy is... I'm sorry to say this, okay, because I know people, oh my God, like, don't judge people in their sexuality or whatever. It's clear that he's fighting some demons, y'all, and the demons are wearing some fucking pride flags because he's gay.
Dressed like a girl.
Girl.
Belly button fucking rings like a girl.
You know what, too? I used the stall because I didn't want any fucking problems.
Because you're a fucking bitch. You're a fucking girl.
And the thing is,
girl so bad.
they don't want transgender women. I'm not transgender, by the way. But they don't want transgender women to use the women's bathroom. They don't want gay men to use the men's bathroom. I guess I'll just piss on the floor.
Why don't you just go to the girls' bathroom?
Because I'm a fucking boy.
Exactly. So why you dress like this?
You
got followers? Come on, let me get in this shit.
That fucking dweeb in the background. Oh my god, he looks like he works for Apple Tech. He's Apple Genius representative. This is where I gotta say right here, okay? I am open-minded to everybody's discussion when it comes down to, you know, trans women in the restroom and all this. And I know it's a huge talking point, especially of 2025 it was, of like, oh, men in women's restroom. But this is where you fall into a very trickery slope here. If trans women are going to go into the men's restroom because they were born male, they're going to get treated like this too. Obviously, a lot of people are going to be like, what the hell? So look, I am open, obviously. You guys know this. I always feel like at the end of the day, obviously, we do have to listen to women and what they are comfortable with. But you do fall into this whole trickery slope of like, or tricky slope of like, if this guy who is a man, he looks like a man, clearly you guys could see like he's just wearing a blazer and you could clearly see he's a man, you know what I mean? And he's getting harassed just being a feminine man. Can you guys just imagine how a trans woman is going to feel going into the men's restroom? Like, this is where I say, like, I do want to be open-minded and I do want to listen, but I feel like if you are, you know, you clearly are looking the part of being a female, like, in my personal opinion, I feel like go to the women's restroom. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like if I were to go out and drag, like, honestly, y'all, like, I feel like I would feel more comfortable going to the women's restroom. Like, I just know that if I were to, like, dress up and drag and go into the men's restroom, like, I know that some shit's probably gonna pop off. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like things may get a little bit ugly up in there. You know what I mean? And it ain't gonna be for me, y'all, because I'll take off my motherfucking size 13 heel and clock somebody. You know what I mean? I'm totally kidding. Okay, violence is not the answer. Unless you're hit first, then I defend myself. Anyways, so I feel like this is a very tricky thing, and I'm actually kind of in a weird way glad that this video went viral. It sucks for this guy, and I really do feel bad for him because it's like at the end of the day, he was just going to the men's restroom, and then he's in there getting bullied by this guy who is so clearly gay. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, you clearly are gay. Like, if you're that pressed, go into the men's restroom and you're worried about another man. You're gay. You are gay. Okay. Like, I just feel like when you're a man, go into the restroom, do your business, get the fuck out of there. Do you know what I mean? If you're worried about another man in there, like, why are you so pressed? Like, obviously you got something going on in the back of your brain that is telling you like, oh, he's attracted to this. You know what I mean? And I think it's one of those things to where, yeah, I'm sure you guys have known some guys in high school, especially like for me in high school, I'm like, damn, the most homophobic guys were gay. You know what I mean? Because they were obviously fighting those inner demons and they wanted to push that away so much. And I feel like that's exactly how this guy is. But what I was going back to saying is I'm kind of glad that this went viral because I think that it is very eye-opening to a lot of people out there that people want to say like, oh, if you were born man, go into the men's restroom. And it's like, yeah, if you look like a woman though, and you obviously transition and everything, like, you're going to get bullied. You're going to get harassed. Like, that's just not a comfortable situation to be in, you know? But then I do have to say, and I do got to keep it real with you guys, you know, and this is where obviously this gets to be a very nuanced topic when you have people who, you know, like, look like a guy. Like, if you guys didn't see that video of, there was this black girl who was like, come to find out, I think she was like a singer or songwriter or something. I forget what it was, but if you guys know what I'm talking about, leave it in the chat. But she had put this trans person, y'all, I'm like, because I gotta keep it with you guys, I was like, oh, like, they didn't look like they were trying to be a woman to me. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, like, I'm not trying to be offensive, but I was like, I could totally understand why, you know, this woman was pressed about it, because I'm like, yeah, like, if you look like that and you're going into, you know, the women's restroom, then I kind of could understand how women would feel uncomfortable. Do you know what I mean? But I feel like when you are obviously, you know, looking done up like a woman and everything, like, it's like, obviously go to the women's restroom. You know what I'm saying? Because now I feel like, okay, hopefully people could empathize with this situation to see that there's just this gay boy over here who's just feminine, who just has his, you know, makeup on, and he is dressed feminine and androgynous, and it's like even he's getting harassed. Do you know what I mean? So I'm glad that this actually like popped up, so hopefully some people could realize like, hello, like, this is a very, you know, tricky situation to be in. And I really do think that, well, I am starting to see now that a lot of places have gender neutral restrooms, which honestly, y'all, I freaking love, because I just feel like that's like the safe space, okay? Like, people are like, look, I'm just trying to use the restroom, okay? Like, oh my gosh, I'm not trying to do no creepy shit in the restroom. I'm just trying to go relieve myself, and that's literally it, you know? And I do think that it sucks, but I feel bad for this guy, but in a weird way, I'm glad that it happened, because I really do think that this is going to open people's brains to be like, if this guy is getting harassed in the men's restroom, can you imagine how a trans girl is going to feel going into the men's restroom? You know what I mean? Like, damn, like, but it is, like I said, it is a very gray area topic. It is very nuanced. It's not cut and dry, obviously. Like, I do think that if somebody that looked like me walked into the women's restroom and say I identify as a woman, like that's a problem. You know what I mean? That's a problem. So that's where I'm like, it is a nuanced topic. I do understand that. So it is up for discussion. Can this chair shut up? Oh my God. Like, what the hell? Like, I know I'm a person of size, but damn, like, why is it squeaking so much? And yo, I gotta keep it real with you guys. This shit, when I bought this damn chair right here, it said that the weight limit is 300 pounds. Like, right now, I'm like 215. Like, what are you squeaking about? Damn. Okay, anyways, y'all, for the last topic of today, we're going to be talking about Jeffree Star and his ice jokes slash comments. Y'all, I have to say this, okay? Go ahead and call me whatever the hell you want to call me. Moving into this, look, I have to say, the way that me and my mom have been talking about this a lot, the way that ice has been moving, y'all. And look, I'm not sitting here saying like, oh, I'm like anti-ice or whatever, because I do believe that, you know, to keep our country safe, we do need border protection. Absolutely. I'm sorry. Every other damn country out there has border protection. Okay. Like, that's what people need to get down to the nitty gritty of, is why is it okay that every other country has border protection, but oh, it's so bad that the US does. Oh, we're all racist or whatever for wanting border protection. Look, let's go ahead and get that out of the way. I do think that we do need border protection. However, the videos that I have seen, and even here, okay, even my homegirl literally down in Orange County has witnessed it herself, videoed it herself, just seeing the way that these ICE agents are moving, oh my Lord, y'all. They are making everyone look horrible, okay? I know that there are some good ICE members out there who are just like trying to do their job, and they have a certain list of people that they need to get up and get out of the country and whatnot. But the way that they're moving and acting as if they're above the law, as if they're superior, yanking people out of their cars, slamming them to the ground, even when they're not resisting. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's things like this that really do get me triggered. Like, y'all, I got goosebumps right now. Like, I get so pressed over this because somebody like me, it's like, I'm not sitting over here. I'm sorry, but I'm not one of those people that I'm going to be out there throwing Molotov cocktails at ICE cars. Like, no, I know at the end of the day, they have a purpose. They're serving their purpose. And some of them are good people. You know what I'm saying? However, a lot of them are bad people, okay? Like, let's just go ahead and keep it real. Even if you're conservative, I hope that you guys can truly see this too, is that the way that some of them are moving and acting, it is getting really bad. And they're obviously making people get up into a frenzy and obviously get out there and start doing all these protests and everything like that because of the way that they're acting. I do think that if they were to be calm, cool, collected, just doing their job peacefully, go ahead and take out the people that they need to peacefully. Like, if they have a list of criminals that they need to take out, go to their houses. Okay, take them. Like, why are you slamming innocent people to the ground? Why are you slamming flower ladies down to the ground? Why are you slamming, ladies out there like just trying to sell hot dogs and stuff? Why are you slamming them to the ground? Like, I have seen countless videos, and I do mean countless videos, sorry, of people getting completely manhandled and like dead ass, I would say, like beaten up by ICE agents. And I think this is where people start hating ICE even more, is because of agents like that. And that's where I'm sitting over here saying, like, even if you are a conservative person, and even if you're like, oh, hell yeah, like, let's go ICE or whatever, hopefully you could at least be a rational human and sit there and be like, this is not right. Like, the way that they are acting. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's where you start to lose me. And that's where I start to be like, look, yes, I do believe that we do need border protection. However, them acting like this is not okay. It's fucking insane. And I feel like it's just inhumane, honestly. Like, I feel like it's so grimy that I could go out there and I could see like freaking Siaka, or what the hell is the name of the like pet control? Like, pet control comes out for a fucking rabid dog and they treat the dogs better than humans are getting treated. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's where I start to say, like, oh my God, y'all, like, I literally just have goosebumps right now, honestly, of just seeing countless videos of how many people are being so just mistreated by ICE. And I think that that really does suck, so I do want to get that clear out of the way before getting into it. I guess I fall into a gray area when it comes down to it, because it's not like, I'm sorry, but you're not going to see me at a anti-ICE, protest type of thing. Like, no, I'm not like that, because I do know at the end of the day, every other country in the world obviously has their border policies, their border protection, and it's totally fine for them to do it. Recently I had brought this to a friend's attention. I was like, oh, it's so crazy that they started doing some protest down there. I believe it was it Guatemala? I believe it was that there was a lot of Guatemalans that were crossing over into Mexico, and Mexico was deporting the Guatemalans. And I was like, this is where you start getting into this hypocrisy of like, oh, Americans are called like racist and everything for, deporting certain people who obviously shouldn't be here. But then it's so crazy that Mexico is actively doing the same thing as well too. Do you know what I'm saying? So this is where I say, like, I understand border protection. I get all of that, and I do think that we do need it, but do y'all gotta act like this? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is where it's just like, why are you over here acting the way that you're acting? And to me, if I'm keeping it so for with you guys, I feel like there's just so much like anger within a lot of these ICE agents, and they just be taking it out on these people. You know what I mean? And I think that's fucked up, and I think that that's wrong, and I think that, They need to get it together. Okay, so I want to let you guys know my little stance on that before getting into it. Like I said, once again, hey, just like when it comes down to the men in women's restrooms, it's a very nuanced topic, and I think that everybody needs to obviously have conversation about this because, I think that even if you are a very strict conservative watching this, I think that I would hope that you could actually see these videos and be like, this is not okay. This is not right. And they do need to be reprimanded. I'm so sorry. I think that a lot of these ICE agents really, one, I had heard, I don't know if it's true. Okay, I did not do my fact checking on this. Okay, so you guys can let me know down below. But I had heard that supposedly ICE agents are only given 40 days of training. That's insane. Okay, like that's actually insane. So I feel like maybe they need more training. Maybe they need to be reprimanded. I don't know, y'all. Like something, because this shit is, it's wild, and to me it's just so sad to see. And I feel like, I could understand some conservative talking points on this as far as border control, but like this is not the way to do it. And can I say this too? A lot of people sit over here and they say, they're like, okay, stop resisting, stop resisting. But okay, I could understand how people could get aggressive, because honestly, y'all, I'm just that type of person that I put myself into somebody else's shoes. And I'm like, if I was a cop and somebody was resisting and they socked me, like, I'm gonna wanna sock them back straight up. Like, I got a baton on me, you clocked me in the face, I'm gonna hit you with this damn baton. You know what I'm saying? So I really can see myself in that situation like that. But I have to say this, I feel like, hopefully you guys can sit there and realize like what they're doing is wrong, because a lot of them, and just do a little Twitter search, okay, a lot of them do not resist. A lot of them are not fighting back, and they are getting freaking, like, yo, I just, right before filming this, okay, I saw this guy at a gas station. He was just sitting in his car. They straight busted his window open, dragged him out. 5 ICE agents jumped on top of him. I was like, what the hell? And his friend's like, he's an American citizen. He's an American citizen. I'm like, so how can you sit over here? Like, I don't know. It's things like that. I'm like, you just busted out his window, opened the door, and 5 of you guys just jumped on him, and he was not fighting. He was not fighting at all. And I'm like, it's things like that where I'm just kind of like, okay, can we all just use our eyes here? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry to say this, but I could always see if somebody's resisting and they're like fighting back or whatever, then I'm like, well, hey, at the end of the day, if you end up getting hit with a baton, like that's what you get. Like just, comply, you know what I mean? But to see, Jan, I'm telling you guys, I've seen multiple videos of people complying and they still get mistreated. Like that's where I'm like, okay, like that's why people are over here acting the way that they're acting, because a lot of these ICE agents, I'm not saying all, but a lot of these ICE agents are just acting very aggressive. It's like, okay, can't you just like arrest somebody like normal? Do you know what I mean? Like, why you gotta do what you're doing? Like, why you gotta like freaking put your knee down to their face and shit like that? Like, to me, it's just a little crazy. Anyways, let's go ahead and jump into this Jeffree Star topic, because a lot of people are in uproar about this, y'all. I have to say this, okay? You guys know that I have a very dark sense of humor. Before jumping into this, I'm leaving this up to you guys, okay? Because I'm gonna be so for real with you guys when it comes down to like me and my group of friends. Yeah, we make jokes about everything, okay? I do got to keep it real, but that's my group of friends in private, and we all know, obviously, everybody's, triggers and buttons and everything like that, and everything, y'all, if you guys saw the first episode with Genevieve in it, like, y'all, she'd have called me a faggot so many damn times. I was like, let me bleep this out. I was like, girl, they're gonna hate you. She's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm like, period, because at the end of the day, that's our friendship, okay? Like, if I'm cool with her calling me a fag, I'm sorry, that's what I'm cool with. I don't need anybody else trying to defend me and be like, that's not okay, that's not right, blah, blah, blah. It's like, that's our friendship. We've always been that way. And she can call me a faggot until the day that we die. Like, y'all, she could be at my funeral and be like, I love this faggot. Like, that's just how we are. Do you know what I'm saying? That's our friendship. Do you know what I mean? And that is a lot of my friends' friendship, obviously within private and behind the scenes and everything like that. I do know that there's a lot of other people out there who do have a very crude and crass sense of humor. Do you know what I'm saying? You do get into a little bit of a tricky area though when you are on a live stream and you are saying things like this, because it's like, okay, if you have this banter with your friend, people watching obviously hear what you're saying and they could be offended and pressed by what you're saying. Do you know what I mean? And I think this is where it's kind of like, I'm coming from this at looking at all different spectrums right here. Do you know what I'm saying? Of me personally having a very dark sense of humor, and I'll be busting all types of jokes. You know what I mean? To my friends, and they obviously bust them back. You know what I'm saying? But you obviously get into a real tricky area when you're on here making these types of jokes, especially dealing with what's going on right now. Do you know what I mean? I do want to say this before reacting to this clip right now of Jeffree Star making these jokes. I don't know when this was taken. Okay, I was just tagged on this. Actually, I'm currently filming this episode the day before it goes up. So I'm filming this right now on January 13th, okay? And I was just tagged in it this morning. I was like, what's going to be the main topic of conversation for today's episode? And I said, okay, let me talk about this. I don't know when this was posted, but there's just obviously so much going on with Ice right now. And it's just kind of like, it's bad timing. It's a bad look. It's insensitive, of course. And once again, like, I'm sorry, you guys are going to hate me for this. I know it. But if you have a crude sense of humor and a dark sense of humor with your friends behind the scenes, and you guys know all of your guys' comfortabilities, and you're like, I don't give a like me, for example, like, I don't give a fuck if my friend calls me a faggot. Like, I don't care. You know what I mean? I would get pressed if like people try to get out there and cancel Genevieve for calling me a faggot. It's like, no, I'm comfortable with that. I don't need you. She wasn't calling you a faggot, okay? She was calling me a faggot, okay? Calm down. I don't need you doing that. But that's because that's our friendship. Do you know what I'm saying? However, when you're like obviously like this, do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, girl, it's just not good. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't be like that up on the internet. And on top of that too, it's like so crazy. If you guys watch that episode that I'm talking about, I'm like, I even like bleeped out the damn words. Do you know what I mean? So I obviously even did that. So it's like, here, like, don't be doing that. You know what I mean? So I do want to go ahead and play this. You know what's so crazy? He actually already apologized too. So we'll get into that too. Let's do a little reaction over here. Okay, let's see what he said.
I found the clip. I found the clip. Watch this. You're ugly, Jessica. Bye.
Let's go, little fucker.
Forgot to mention that I got this clip from Perez Hilton.
Sorry.
I'm just surprised they have red lights in the deportation centers.
Now, I gotta say right there, honestly, I don't know what happened before this clip where he had said, I'm surprised that they just have red lights in the deportation centers. I don't know what that alludes to. So someone let me know. Fill me in on that.
Oh, y'all want to banter, huh?
And it gets worse. This was not the only joke Jeffree Star.
This is totally random. I'm so sorry, but I always tell my mom, because my mom like used to not watch, but go onto Perez Hilton's blog too. I'm like, is it crazy that like we feel like Ron Perlman is his dad? Is that his name? Is it Ron? Oh my God, hold on. I'm so sorry, y'all. Completely off topic. I have to Google that. The guy that plays Hellboy, okay? We're like, why do they look like twins? Like, I don't know if I'm like crazy or what. Yeah, Ron Perlman. I'm like, every time I see Perez Hilton, I'm like, is Ron Perlman his dad? Like, I don't know. So I'm so sorry. Completely off topic. I'm like, this is crazy. I'm like, did you play Hellboy? Sorry, let's get back into it.
Star made about Ice tonight. Watch this.
I know what Jessica's thinking. She's like, I'm calling Ice.
So there you guys heard from right there. He said that he's calling Ice. Look, you guys, at the end of the day, I feel like this is one of those things that's subjective. If you're obviously offended by this, you're offended by it, you're pressed by it, you know. I just have to say at the end of the day, like when it comes down to Jeffree Star, obviously, if you guys have known who he is all along, this is his sense of humor. And this is, by the way, I'm not condoning it. Let me get to my point because I already know people are jumping the gun here. You guys know this is how he is. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like, you know, it's cool to have a dark sense of humor and everything. And I have to be real with you guys. I do get a little bit defensive when I see people getting canceled for like, you know, oh, this joke's racist or whatever. I'm like, calm the fuck down. You know what I mean? Like, it's so crazy. I'm like, do you guys not have a group of friends? Because y'all, the shit that some of my friends say about each other, I'm like, damn, like they would be canceled within freaking 2.2 seconds on the internet. You know what I'm saying? But I do have to say, where is your, how do I say this? Like, awareness. Do you know what I mean? Like, even I know, and y'all, I'm going to keep it so real with you guys. I really do have a dark sense of humor. And honestly, like, I refrain myself from saying some certain shit on the internet. But one thing about me, and this is what I always tell you guys, is I'm not going to be a fake bitch and say that I don't say this or say that. Do you know what I mean? But it's like, have a little bit of awareness and not do it on the internet. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, you own a company, you have a mass following, like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like have a little bit of awareness, especially because, you know, the time that we're living in, you know, like, I just feel like that's, I don't know. Like, look, at the end of the day, it's fully entitled to your guys' thoughts and opinions on it. Do you know what I mean? I just feel like it's just bad timing. You know what I mean? I do want to go ahead and play this right here, which is his apology about it. I do have to say this, okay? If you guys know Jeffree Star, it's shocking that he even apologized. Okay, it really is. Like, honestly, like, that fool has made so many damn edgy jokes and he used to do some crazy ass skits, and those I'll never hold him to because I feel like that's the era that we were in. Like, people bring up the shit from freaking 18 years ago. I was like, yo, there was some crazy times back then. They really was. Like, damn, the shit that people were doing and saying and everything, you know what I mean? But I do have to say, like, over the past couple years and everything that he said and done, it's like he doubled downs on. And I really do feel like it's kind of surprising that he actually even surprised. So let's check this out. Apologized.
It's not gonna happen. Sorry.
I'm not gonna allow people to try to spin it into like I'm the devil. No. What I said last night was insensitive and fucked up. Absolutely. Absolutely. I woke up today like, ooh, girl, I took things too far, bitch. But that happens sometimes. We're putting on a character when we're live. We say fucked up stuff.
Okay, I hate that I know there's gonna be people that are like, oh, you're justifying this. Okay, if you guys have been up on a live before, you know what sucks is like, I feel like he doesn't drink, so it's like, obviously, he should be in his full state of mind. And I'm not blaming the drinking. However, anybody who drinks, you just know that sometimes you be saying some shit that you don't mean. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got like diarrhea of the mouth, you know? So I do have to say this, you know, I guess, sure, if you want to call it in his defense, but I am just saying, like, when you are in that moment, like, if you're on live or whatever, like, yeah, there's been plenty of times where I've been up on live, I've been a little bit tipsy, I'm like, oh, shouldn't have said that, you know what I mean? So you guys know, if you guys watch my main channel, I had cracked a joke about, like, Adrian Brody looking like Anne Frank or whatever, and I was like, is that offensive? Like, fuck, I started thinking about it after, but I had already said it. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I was just like, oh, damn. Like, you end up thinking about it after. So I do have to say, obviously, you do say some things in the heat of the moment, you know what I mean? But once again, I just feel like, hello, you know what's going on in the world, you know what I mean?
Fucked up stuff on here all the time. So if anyone did take it the wrong way and you were offended, I do owe you an apology. I do. I always own my mistakes. You guys have seen me make mistakes online, and no one's perfect, you guys. And my banter...
You guys, I'm sorry. I have been covering Jeffree Star commentary for years now. I have been following Jeffree Star for years now. Didn't he make like one apology video? Literally just one. Am I tripping? I'm like, let's go to keep it real. I do feel like when it comes down to things, which by the way, hey, I'm a firm believer in this. If you're not sorry for something, like, y'all, if I said something, oh, excuse me, like, if I said something that's, you know, offensive to somebody and they were offended by it, and I'm like, well, I'm not sorry, I'm not gonna say sorry. Like, you're not gonna get an I'm sorry out of me if I didn't mean it. Let me tell you guys a little bit something. Since we're here up on this podcast channel, I would still be friends with my ex co-host if I apologize. I was not sorry for calling her desperate. Still not. Here we are going on almost 2 years later. I'm not sorry. She didn't get an apology. She will never get an apology out of me because I'm not sorry for calling her desperate. Okay? You know what I'm saying? So that just goes to show you that, like, to me, if you really are genuinely sorry, cool, say it. But with him, what the hell? He's made like one apology video. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he's talking about like he always owns his mistakes. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Which is fine. Like, if you, like I said, if you're not sorry for it, then don't be sorry. Like, own it. Like, if you're like, hey, this is my sense of humor. I was cracking a joke with my friends. They're not bothered by it. Oh, well. You know what I mean? Like, then cool. But don't get out here and be fake and talk about, oh, I always own my mistakes, when it's like, no, you don't, boo. What the hell?
It's perfect, you guys. And my banter went a little too far last night. Yeah. So if you can accept my apology, I appreciate you. I'm not going anywhere. I'm the same bitch from day one. If you can't, I fully respect and understand that. But telling me to unalive myself in all of this right here is so extreme for something that wasn't meant in that way. That's crazy.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm actually really surprised that he even apologized, which, you know, obviously at the end of the day, like I said, it's one of those things that is subjective. If you were really pressed about it, then you're pressed about it. You guys, I've always said this before, because I really do feel like a lot of people want me to be like heated over certain things, and I'm like, I have several friends like him. I low-key maybe even have a similar personality to him, or sorry, a similar sense of humor to him. You know what I mean? However, I can't sit here and say that I won't crack an edgy joke like that, because yeah, I would. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not going to be a fake bitch. Yes, I would. However, I'll tell you what, I won't do it up on the internet, because I feel like obviously that's where you're going to offend people, you're going to hurt people, and that's never my intention. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I make a joke like that towards my friends in private, like, that's our banter. Do you know what I mean? So this is where I say, like, let's have a little bit of self-awareness here. I'm sorry, I do have to say this though. I'm like, this fool saying he always owns his mistakes and his wrongs or whatever. I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't. Like I said though, but I could always respect a real bitch. Like, if you get up out there and say, I'm not sorry for that. Like, honestly, y'all, if you were to get out there and be like, I'm not sorry, it was a joke and that's just it. Like, if you got offended, it wasn't meant towards you. It was meant towards my friend that I was, you know, having some banter with, and he said this about me and she said that about me, so I said this back, like, whatever, you know, then I could respect that too. Because at the end of the day, like, to me, I'm so sorry, y'all, but a fake apology does what? You know what I mean? Like, to me, I personally think that if you are going to give an apology, then you need to mean it, so that way you obviously never make that mistake again. So hopefully, you know, he does obviously realize that that's very offensive, because obviously the time that we're living in, and I really do think that that is something that, like, why would you want to do that? Do you know what I mean? Why would you want to make people feel offended and hurt? You know, obviously, given in the situations that we're currently seeing right now all over the freaking news. Like, honestly, y'all, that's why I had told you guys last time, I'm like, I'm taking a little bit of a break from Twitter and from by the way, Twitter. Oh my gosh. By the way, I'm still calling it Twitter. Okay. I'm like, I get so damn thrown off. But anyways, and Instagram, because I'm just like, oh my God, it's so negative. Like, that's all I'm seeing is like negative shit. And it's so funny that I said, I'm just still going to get my information from TikTok. And I'm like, well, even on TikTok, I'm like, damn, you know, I just can't outrun it. All of these things are everywhere. But I do have to say, obviously, he's on social media. He knows these things. And I do think that, I don't know, it's just maybe something that, like, if you crack those types of jokes in private with your friends or whatever, like, you know your friends' comfortability. You know your friends. You guys have a certain type of banter. Do you know what I mean? And I just feel like, hey, if that's your group of friends and they're cool with it, like, you know, it is what it is. Like, you know, but then I just feel like, why take it to social media to where then you could offend other people? Do you know what I mean? So hopefully that makes some sense on the matter. Hopefully next week's episode will be a little bit more lighthearted. I feel like once again, I was like, damn, we talk about some real serious shit these days. And I feel like, woo, this is new for me, but I do got to keep it real with you guys in a weird way. I do think that this is good for me, because these are some topics of conversation that I have wanted to talk about for years now when it comes down to some certain things I've just always been scared to. And I said, fuck that. In 2026, I'm like, nope, I'm not going to shy away from things. I'm not going to sit here and be scared just because I know people are going to call me this and call me that and, you know, build up a narrative about me. I'm like, I don't give a fuck anymore. I'm like, at the end of the day, I feel like I'm so comfortable within knowing who I am as a person that if I get labeled as this or that, then it is what it is, and I just feel like that comes with the territory. So I gotta accept it for what it is, y'all. Anyways, make sure you guys let me know your thoughts and opinions about everything. Also stay tuned, because Genevieve should definitely, okay, I'm not gonna ditch her for the casino, okay? Genevieve should definitely be in next week's episode. And you know what's so crazy? One thing that we had said we wanted to talk about, it's pretty dark too. I'm like, oh, it's kind of depressing. I'm like, damn, y'all, having to do with our like body dysmorphia and our body image issues and shit like that. I'm like, sooner or later, we're going to get to the lighthearted episodes, okay? I just feel like, damn, maybe we just got a lot of dark things to talk about these days. You know what I mean? Anyways, I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, Girl Scout.